All right, you're welcome to Good Morning Anambra show. Today happens to be a very special day in our lives as adults. You know, some of the things that made us what we are today, or some of the things that enabled us to do what we are doing today in a perfect way. This is unlocking potentials, the power of play in child development. Some of us played a lot when we were small, but these days is the tendency we tend to lock our children inside, you know, for fear of the unknown. But all these are going to be x-rayed here to know the importance of play in the life of any child, and to even in adults, you know, these are the things we are going to be x-raying in our discussion this morning. In the studio, we've been joined by Mrs. Bernice Chinwe Nosike. She's a proprietress, Kamsi Beni International Academy, Oka. You're welcome to the studio, ma'am.
Good morning.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Now, today happens to be the International Day of Play, commemorated based on the belief that children can reach their full potentials. You know, what do you have to say about that?
Yes, today, like I said, because I checked it, today is 11 Tuesday,
11th.
and it seems to be the first ever. They've not done it before. And I see it among tribe and tongue for children, they learn a lot too, because while having fun, they are as well learning. And for so many people, some of us that have kids, you will know that, or have school, when you sit back and watch them, you'll be amazed what they can do. And after which, when they get home, they continue with the play. All the things we taught them, we teach them as well. They will go back home and keep rehearsing it. And the parents will demand to watch the child.
Okay, you remember when we were much younger, it started with what is called a folklores, you know, that back then, you know, where people gather in, you have to leave your house and gather outside. Then there will be moon outside, folklore moon, and, you know, if people were enjoying it, you know, after that we migrated to more sophisticated era of when people watch television, yes, and stuff like that. So, but today it seems some children are no longer taking part or being part of play. And what do you think this?
It is sad, actually. In the world, parents are so scared to let their kids out of their sight, and sometimes they want to engage them through either iPad or television and everything. So this makes the kids not to mix up with the kids.
Other kids.
With other kids. No social learning as well, which is not good. So probably after today, parents, if those that are listening, we will start to explore into engaging ourselves or involving ourselves as well with the kids while they are playing.
All right, can we now look at the importance of play and in the life of any child? Why do we need to play in the first place?
Well, it's for cognitive. You know, it helps the brain as well.
Okay.
And Piaget is one of the psychologists who did something about children a lot, a Frenchman. He said something about play, while it is important among the kids. You will see your child. Let me give you an example. If you get a child of 5 months, try this and see it works. A child of 5 months, you show that child something. The child will be looking at it, probably try to grab it. It's looking at that object, but putting the hand at the other side, while as she or he wants to grab the object. And another thing is, when the child is about 7, 8 months, you show the child that thing and hide it in front of the child. Either take clothes and cover it. The child will not look for that thing. But when a child is around 1 year old, you use something and cover it, you will see the child take off that thing to look for the objects.
Okay.
So that shows that it develops their brain. If we keep on encouraging them to play and involving ourselves as well.
Apart from brain development, what other things can it do for us?
Physically and mentally.
Generally in child development?
Yes.
Okay.
Physically, is because a child, when they are a toddler, for example, you see them jumping about, touching, they want to explore the environment, touching so many things. So, but what we usually do is take something that is dangerous out of their sight. Because if you leave it, even if they will drink it. Acid, anything there, because they didn't know much. So, but if you take off everything and take a child indoors, that is create an environment whereby a child will always play. It makes sense a lot, and it helps even at school. When they want to play, that's why we have playground. That's why we have, even in a nursery, you have a corner whereby you put all the toys for the kids. When it is time, they will bring it out and then play. And another thing is allow them to just use anything they want. Don't tell them. If you see social workers in abroad, what they do is they bring different types of games and toys and then leave it and observe that child. They will tell you story that they will not go wrong about that child and the family, what is happening. You will see a child they will get something and then play with it. Their concentration span is very narrow. Small, so they will do things, run away again, go and do another one, run away again, So, but if you allow them and encourage them, you will know what that child will be in future. Because there must be something that some of them will use. You will buy cars, they will pieces it and try to fix it back again. So they learn. And logos.
Okay.
Logos, they use it to build anything. They can use it to build a house and see the house fall apart until they get it right. They will keep on exploring until they know that it needs to be balanced before they do something.
All right. Now, apart from children playing, some of us that played when we played, some of us have stopped playing, is there any need for an adult to get involved in playing?
Play is generally good for everybody.
Everybody?
Everyone, both children and adults. Because I remember in those days, my dad used to go to a particular corner where I think he missed his friends. They used to play drafts.
Okay. They
play with those drafts, and then you will see other people gather to watch them. Football is as well very good because when parents, we need to discharge our physical, what do you call it? That is, we have physical, it's part of exercise.
Okay.
For us. So parents with football, game, if you can remember, in those days, whereby
can we really go back to that now?
Yes. When the moon is at full, but that time there was no electricity. Okay. It wasn't as rampant as it is now. So you go outside, if it's a story, you will learn a lot. Some people will tell you story about tortoise, different stories about tortoise, and you believe. Until when you grow up, then when you check, you see that it's not. And then it's not true. And then they give you again about we do so many things, actually.
All right, now there's this myth that I want you to talk about. That some people that did not really play much when they were small, as children, some of them eventually get into marriage and they won't get a child, and they will be told, maybe you did not play when you were small, you need to go and get children to. Could that be true?
Yes, sometimes, I think there's some evidence actually that shows that it can be true, because a child, if you haven't played, not just for what you said, if you did not play much, you find out that some children, they use computer a lot, iPad. So it's very, very important that a child meets another child or meets a group of people, to ask questions, to play with them, or help them to be matured as well. In times of when a child doesn't play much, there will be, that is a loner. I use the word, not in future, that child would like to always be on his or her own. And you wouldn't, that is in Jakele. some village that Oka use Njakili so much, you know, that any slighted thing you do, the child can be easily provoked because he didn't actually or she play a lot. And in terms of your question, if the person is encouraged to gather children together, you gather them, either you do salaka, you ask them to pray for you if there's no child in the family, and you actually, because children are spirit, they're so pure, you know. So, or you ask them to gather those children, and then sometimes learn how to carry a baby.
Them.
Learn how to pick them up, even though, because anybody that has a child, you must tolerate dirtiness. Because I don't know, you will get yourself ready to go somewhere with white, and the child will get something, and when you are almost going, plaster something on you. Or go to your cosmetics and use it to rub. Don't you see, or you haven't experienced it. That, hey, and you will not know what to do. You have to learn how to clean them again. But to that child, he or she was having fun because they observed the mother doing it, and they thought it's the best thing ever.
It's the best. All right. I don't know. We were so free when we were much younger. You know, our parents could leave us to go to our neighbors' houses where we usually play. There is a particular home that we use. There is a kind of gate they have. So in front of their gate, there's this kind of house they built before you enter the house. So we are using that place mostly for our plays when we were much younger.
Gather there.
Yes, but we know that these days it's no longer the same. You know, people tend to lock their children in flats, in bungalows. Some people have compound without neighbors. Some people don't even entertain neighbors to come to their houses because of what actually is playing around in our society today. So what effect do you think this is actually having on children's development?
It's not the best actually for the child or children, but you will not blame the parents actually because of what is happening. But this is why it's important that we have play center. I think our governor is trying to bring that into action soon. That is like this stadium.
Solution Fund City.
Thank you. You go there, you take the child out when you are available, because parents are working now. Parents do full time, the mother, the father do full time. They don't have much time for the kids. And you can tell the difference between somebody that sit down to look after a child until the child is around 9 years old, and somebody whose parents are not around. And then when the child is involved into so many other things, you won't blame the child because the parents are not around. But parents will always try as much as they could to take a child to play football in the field, even involve themselves to play football with the child, you know, or with their children. So it helps a lot. It stimulates their brain. It bonds parents together with the children as well. It's very important.
All right, in case you're just dropping by, this is Good Morning Anambra show, where we are looking at the World Day of Play, unlocking potentials, the power of play in child development. We have Mrs. Bernice Chinwenosike in the studio. We are going to take a very short break here. When we return, we are going to really look at the both negative and positive effects when a child plays and when a child does not play at all. And that will be when we return after the break. Do join us again.
They have their challenges, their skin, their sight. Usually government provides spectacles, the kind of
ọ dịcha mma ka esi ejikpa ụmụazị ahụ n'oge a. Maka eziokwu, abụ m onye nkụzi. Mụnwa dịka onye nkụzi ana m emetere ụmụaka ahụ ebere, mana ihe kpatara ndị nne na nna asị m kwuo ji ejikwa ụmụaka ahụ bụ ụwa adịghị ka ọ dị n'oge mbụ. Kịta ihe emebiela. N'ịgwa gị eziokwu, ọ bụ na ịhapụ nwa gị ka o jee gwurie egwu ka isi egwuri n'oge ahụ, ị ga-afụ na ọ ga-amụta ihe ọjọọ n'aka ndị ọzọ na-abụghị ihe ị chọrọ. Ndị nne na nna n'uche m, ekwetara m na ihe ha ji eme ihe anwa bụ ha chọrọ ka ụmụ ha mụta ihe ọjọọ anwa. Onye ọbụla chọrọ ka ọ zọọ nwa ya, onye ọbụla nwere ihe ọ chọrọ, mkpụrụ ọ chọrọ ikunye n'ime ụmụaka ya. So n'uche m, ekwetara m na ihe ha ji eme ha mbụ ka nwa ya dị otu ya chọọ ka ọ dị. Nke ọ na-abụ nwatakịrị ya agụgide akwụkwọ, ọ na-akụ ihe dịka elekere 6 nke mgbede. Echeghị m na nke ahụ amaka. Ọ bụghị oke agụmakwụkwọ. Mgbe ụfọdụ gị nwa dịka onye nkụzi, ị ga-nọ na klaasị na-akụzi nwata ya, ịchọpụta nwatakịrị ahụ ị na-akụziri n'ike agwụgo ya, ọ dịgo exhausted dịka ndị bekee si akpọ ya. Onye ahụ o nwezi ihe ọ na-aghọta. Nke ahụ ị na-ekponye ọ na-echefuzi nke ọ mụtara amụta. Ọ ka mma masị m kwuo, m ga-asị na ọ ka mma otu nwaanyị si eme mgbe anyị pe mpe. Ọkụọ 1:30, 2 o'clock, 2:30 hapụ nwatakịrị ka ọ na.
I don't think it's advisable to lock children indoors because they will not be exposed to the environment. They may develop unnecessary phobia for the environment. Instead of become socially adjustable, they will begin to show, attitudes that does not reflect the values of society. They're supposed to come out and have interaction with the society. Understand? And then the society will have impact on them also. You see, people have to be forward-looking. You have to key in with the trends of the society. If you lock them, though for security reasons, it might be possible to lock them indoors, but it's not all the time, okay? You have to expose them to the environment. They become acclimatized to the weather. Parents leave for work or maybe place of work. They should give instructions to the children, okay? Never to step out to places that will expose them to danger. But occasionally they will be allowed to come out within the environment and play like table tennis and whatever. You understand? It's not the best to leave them indoors. They will become introverts. You have to be an extrovert. You know what is happening in the society where you live.
There are many reasons to that. It depends on what a parent wants. Okay? And one of the reasons could be that insecurity. You know what is happening in Nigeria today. You don't even know the child that you are going to allow your children to associate with, who she is or who he is. So because of that, you will not like to allow your children to now mix up with that kind of. This is a period of internet. Children go to the internet to copy all sorts of things. So they not allow your children to go out and start associating with people you as a parent doesn't know.
The world is turning to something else, which something caused it. About the children, parents are not allowed their children to go out for some reasons. 1, kidnappers. 2, neighbors even come to kidnap a child, pretend not to be them. As far as they know about your family, they will send somebody. The 3rd one is no one trusts the environment. The environment is polluted. Both are myself and everybody. The country is so thick and so shallow that nobody tries to leave his or her child outside. In times of lesson, it's too difficult to explain it because a child will come to school in the morning before 8 o'clock and they will stay up to 4. What are we learning? I'm a teacher by profession, certificated teacher. But because of what the factors I've informed you before, you will not allow your child to stay at home because you are not there, you are in the office. And you will not allow your child or your children to be with your neighbors because what you are thinking is not what they are thinking. 1, things are so difficult. Some parents are selling their children. They will sell 2, they will train the remaining 1. So for this reason, I don't know how to put it, but things are not normal.
Sometimes it seems as if parents, they don't have this very concept that there is a global change. Are you listening? So what is there is that you don't have to blame the parents much. You don't even have to blame the kids, because the society is growing. Gone are the days we have a little rural setting where parents can easily control their kids. But there is much urbanization now. Now you don't know the character differences of people you are living with. That's why it seems as if parents are much interested on handling their kids, because due to cultural blending, you don't know the culture of this person, you don't know the norms and the do of one particular community to another one. So I think that is one of the reasons why parents pay much interest on controlling their kids. And again, it seems as if we have two communities now. One is the global community that is more or less on social devices like the social media and rest of it, and the physical community where we see. You don't know the type of exposure given to a particular child. Now the kids, they learn in the both communities, both in the social community and the physical community. Now a child may be exposed to a social community, and most of what is in our Nigerian internet today is not regulated. Unlike in diaspora where they have regulation, there are some certain age limits where a child can view a particular site or something like that. But in Nigeria, we don't have such thing. No, now a child that is corrupt in social life, you can only detect it when they interact with other kids. Now parents will place restriction on their kids so as not to be affected by social behavior of another child.
All right, we've gone to the field to feel the pulse of the masses concerning the issue at hand, unlocking potentials, the power of play in child development. And now, Mrs. Bernice, you know, a lot of these people talked about the situation on ground in our society, being the reason why so many parents do not allow their children to mix with other children, to play together as it used to be then. Now, what do you see in all this? You know, where is it going to what's the place in child development?
Well, you know, with parents, if we allow them, they will be giving us, will I call it flimsy excuses, saying one thing or the other. That is to them. But for that child, it's not good for the child at all. So parents must learn how to make out time to take the child to a place of play. Even inside your own compound, come down with them, play with them. If it's clapping hands, if it's jumping, whatever you want to do it. But make sure you play, because development, when it comes to cognitive development with the child, it's not always the best for them. But my fear goes to, what about a parent, somebody that the parents lock the door, that is, lock them inside the house, they don't have the opportunity
they didn't mix up.
Yes, to play with other children. When they grow up and have their own children, I wonder
what happened?
What will they do, and what will be the outcome of their own children as well? And this is where I see a child, because some of them there's no love, emotionless. That is, they can pick up something and deliberately hurt the other child without feeling any guilty, which is very dangerous to our society. Okay. It's not the best.
Okay, now this year's theme for World Play Day says play makes a better world, and some of us have come to agree that that is true. Now, in what ways do you think we can go about to ensure that our children today becomes part of play with other children? I don't know if it's possible to bring it back, a situation where every child need to play with other children. You know, if it's possible to get it right, how do we go about it for our development?
Yes, play is not just for children, it's even good for adults as well. Okay. At workplace, let me just come to it. I know it's not straight to the question. At workplace, it will be good and very important that any place you work, they will make out time, even the traders. and do something like sports, game together. You find out a band, it brings people together. Just imagine in Okabolu, they said Obolu people will do, group A will do match or football with group B. You see the parents, they're very energetic and very happy to plan for it and come and do it. At workplace, let there be a date or time whereby everybody working will come together and do small jogging, do play, do exercise. It helps.
No matter how little.
No matter how little. Try. Be with them, and all you will do is you find out that at the end, or even during that period, you see your body is relaxed, you are happy, and you will say, oh, I didn't even know this person I was looking at from afar, that she's so good like this. Now you are closer to that person to see that it just may be her own nature. Some people don't know how to communicate, you don't know their background.
Okay. Now, finally, before we leave, I want to drop a message to some parents that maybe what we are saying, they may say we don't understand. You know, they must have seen some things, or they have some terrible experiences why they would not allow their children to mix with other children to play. You know, a powerful message you can drop for them to see the need for these kids to join other children in playing.
I think parents, I'm suggesting that don't have too many kids. Try as much as you could to have what you can contain. That is what you can be able to look after. And then make out time as well. Even if you don't allow that child to go amiss because of the situation of the world now, not just this country, the whole world is so alarming. Then to go out with that child, and then with your children to go and play with them. Not have time, go and play with them. It brings joy to that child. And once you come to join, you will see the way the child will be so excited, jumping, that my mom or dad is playing football with me. Mommy, Dad, can we do it next week, please? The fun of having it. I remember at my school, when I walk into the nursery, they will say, let's play Bakbakulu. They see me as their mate because we will hold hands together and be doing Bakbakulu. Onyo malu, yeah, they enjoy it. They enjoy the rhyme and everything. Okay, we must be very, very conscious and be very careful of how we deal with our children because it does affect them in the end. You won't be there.
All right, I would like to thank you so much. You've heard it from a professional. She handles children every other day except weekends, right?
Yeah.
Okay, she's always with children, and you see from what she has said that it helps in development of their cognitive for people that are in teachers, you know, and so many other things it can help us achieve in life. Thank you so much for being here this morning. Mrs. Bernice Chinwenosike, proprietors, Kamsi Beni International School. Okay, thank you for it. All right, that's it on this segment. We'd like to thank you so much, and do sit by because we have more coming up on Good Morning Anambra Show.